A couple days ago, the Humble Choice Bundle for November released, and I took some time to try out the games in it. I played each game between 30 and 60 minutes, and I have not finished any of them yet. The intention behind this video is to provide an overview and my sort of knee-jerk reaction or feelings on the game. I'm not trying to do a full review of the game or anything like that, so if you get these games, your experience may vary. Darksiders 3 is a third-person hack-and-slash adventure. Play as Fury of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse on a quest to hunt down the 7 deadly sins. The format of the game, at least within the first hour, seems to be that you fight small, weak minions while traversing a post-apocalyptic environment on your way to the next boss, and then you have a big fight with that boss. Combat flows pretty well, and it encourages dodging by giving you a powerful move if you time your dodge well. While not my usual style of game, I did enjoy Fury's whip weapon and the general flexibility it provides when compared to more traditional sword weaponry. From what I've seen, it looks like there's a lot to unlock, including different weapons, so I think there's something for everyone here. If you like games like Devil May Cry or Dark Souls, you should feel pretty at home with this. Imperator Rome is a classic Paradox Interactive offering. This is a grand strategy game with a slow pace and a lot to keep track of and a lot of text. You'll be managing the birth and inevitable downfall of Rome on a large map, managing aspects such as war, trade, infrastructure, technology, culture, religion, the works. You do have the option to play as other nations, but I imagine for everyone's first playthrough you'll want to play as the titular Rome. If you've never played a grand strategy before, this one may be a little daunting to start with as your first. I've played several of Paradox's grand strategy games before, but some aspects of this game were a little tough for me to learn. You can play this game at your own pace and pause whenever you want. You can always take your time whenever you'd like. If you like Paradox's other grand strategy games, or don't mind a very slow and methodical strategy game, I'd say check this one out. Crying Suns is a sci-fi roguelite where you play as a space fleet commander exploring the remains of a fallen empire. I won't spoil any of the story since I believe it's a huge draw, but it's a very dreary universe with a lot of interesting, nuanced details. You'll be spending a lot of time choosing star systems to visit, sucking the fuel out of it, and exploring planets and anomalies, sort of like Oregon Trail or FTL. There's also tactical battles in the game. You'll deploy fighters and fleets in order to defend or attack as you wait for your weapons to charge to do more direct damage. I really liked exploring the planets. You need to choose one of your commanders to lead the mission, and depending on their stats they may do better or worse at certain skill check events. As your squad runs around, you really feel tense knowing that they may get injured or die at any second. The game is gorgeous, and I really enjoyed my experience with this one. Darksburg is a sort of mashup of Left 4 Dead, Diablo, and MOBAs like League of Legends. You and your friends will pick any one of the interesting characters available, and then fight hordes of zombies on your way through the city. Occasionally you'll need to complete a task to progress, such as fixing a church door or blowing open a wall. As you progress and continue fighting, your character will level up and gain new bonuses or twists on their abilities. This means you can be flexible with your character, and sort of lean into aspects of them that you enjoy most. I played as Dr. Dolorosa. Her weapon could push back the zombies, but needed time to refill. I was able to get an ability that allowed her damaging area of effect spell to refill my gun's ammo. This means I was able to use the ability more defensively and fire the weapon without running out of ammo as long as I stood in that area. I only played this game in single player, which means I had a bot helping me out. There's a system where you can order the bot around, but I only really needed it once. Overall, I would say this game is interesting, but most likely more fun with friends.
Hey, you, on the other side of the screen. Remember I told you she was going to die today? Let's keep that a secret between us, all right?
Misfortune is a weird and disturbing point-and-click adventure. You play as Misfortune, a child that is growing up in an abusive home. A mysterious Mr. Voice begins talking to Misfortune and leading her to play a game. This is not an especially long game, but it is pretty interesting in some ways. The voice acting is good, especially for Mr. Voice, but the game's humor really didn't resonate with me.
It was really intense.
Yes, you told me about that.
Still though, if you want a twisted and goofy point-and-click adventure, this one will not disappoint. Smile for Me is a very surreal and goofy first-person game, where you are in what's called the Habitat. It's packed with eccentric characters and details, and gameplay involves solving puzzles or tasks for the residents to make them happy. There's a mechanic where you need to nod or shake your head when asked a question instead of the usual yes or no pop-up you may see in similar offerings. The characters all stand out on their own as having unique personalities and exchanges. Overall, I thought this game was quirky and fun, and I'm looking forward to returning to it and seeing the other oddities it offers. Darkwood is a top-down horror and survival game set in a spooky forest that is overrun with mushrooms and monsters. You'll be spending time finding mushrooms to upgrade yourself, and finding materials to help you survive the night. Boards and nails will allow you to board up your windows, and fuel will let you keep the lights on at night. The controls are pretty simple, but there is a mechanic where your character can only see in a cone in the direction of your mouse cursor. This means you will be naturally looking around behind you, and makes going into even empty rooms a little tense. There's a certain CRPG style of brutality to the game, where you need to figure things out on your own, and a bad decision could spell your doom. The game has several difficulty settings, with normal difficulty just being that you drop some items that you can retrieve if you die. Tsioque is a very classically styled point-and-click adventure game. You play as a princess in the clutches of an evil wizard, and you must navigate his castle that he's taken over and filled with monsters. The gameplay has some nice twists in it every once in a while, where you need to quickly react to a situation or use stealth instead of the more classic approach of picking up items in an empty room. The game is animated frame by frame, and as far as I can tell, it doesn't really use any cheats to get around this. The art style is very simple, but very effective. My absolute favorite part of this game is anything involving the goofy goblin minions. If you like point-and-click adventure games, it's hard to go wrong with this one. Rover Mechanic Simulator is exactly as it sounds. The gameplay loop is taking on orders, fixing the broken parts, and sending them back. The game is not especially complicated, but it is very slow, which may be a positive or a negative for you. It has a variety of rover types, which all vary in size. What I thought was interesting is that you can take certain parts off of the rover, and then bring them to your workbench and disassemble them further. The benefit of this is that an engine might not be working because one small part of it needs replacement instead of the whole thing. I have a category in my Steam library for games that I love to play when I'm sick or feeling lethargic, and I will definitely be playing this next time I have a cold. Youropa is a third-person puzzle game with a little bit of platforming thrown in. You play as a customizable, toy-like character covered in paint. The main mechanic of the game is that your character has suction cup feet which can stick to ceilings and walls. There's also hidden but collectible cassette tapes in each level for the completionists out there. What I didn't expect coming into this is that the levels don't exist in a vacuum and connect to each other with multiple paths. Sometimes to open a door, you need to go to a different way and provide power to it from a few levels away. This game manages to be somewhat simple in all the right ways, and I think the lack of voice acting only adds to the experience. This game has a lot of charm, despite me being a little skeptical coming in, and I'm looking forward to playing more. Townsmen, A Kingdom Rebuilt, is a city builder and resource management game about setting up a small medieval town. You need to set up production lines, food, shelter, and income while preparing for the upcoming winter. I've only done a couple of the story missions, so I haven't been exposed to all the game's core mechanics yet, including combat. Despite that, I found the game to be very simple in the right ways. This game would be a great starting point for anyone who has never played a game like this, as it does a good job slowly adding new elements as the main campaign goes on. There's also an option for a more open-ended sandbox experience in case you want to dive into that as well. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is impossible to describe. It's an intense story about two rival Yakuza gangs and has beat-em-up elements, minigames. It's a surreal mix of serious and over-the-top silliness. Unfortunately, I did not end up playing this game for this video because I'm planning on streaming it with my girlfriend on Twitch at some time in the future. We've never played a Yakuza game before, so we're going to be going in as blind as possible. That's it for November's Humble Choice. This was a pretty good month for Humble Choice, and it had a lot of variety in its offerings, and they were all pretty great in their own ways. So far, my top 3 games of this month are Crying Suns, Youropa, and Rover Mechanic Simulator. If you're interested in Humble Choice, please feel free to use my referral link in the description. You can also find me on my Twitch channel where I stream with my girlfriend a few days a week. Thanks for watching!